travel ban issued on Arjuna and 3 other senior executives of Perpetual Treasuries. In the deadliest mass shooting in US history, at least 50 people have been killed and over 200 injured. Unemployed graduates storm into office of the Chief Secretary of the North Central Province. Malwada Chapter Chief Philate comments on media institutions like Sriracha stepping in to build rural communities in the absence of government action. Sri Lanka clinches nail-biting victory over Pakistan as Rangana Herath enters the record books yet again.
Bringing you the latest news from around the world and here at home, I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Dasnia Thadda. Let's start off with a look at tonight's top story. The Colombo Fort Magistrates Court has issued an overseas travel ban on Perpetual Group owner Arjuna and 3 others. The others who have been banned from travelling overseas are CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Kasun Palisena, the company's chief dealer Nuan Salgado, and senior IT executive Sachit Devathansri. The overseas travel ban was issued following an application made by the CID based on their investigations and on the advice of the Attorney General. To whom did former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran pledge allegiance on taking up position as governor? Zulfiq Farzan reports on Bangkit.
Today, when the cross-examination of former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran resumed, Mahendran said before the commission that it was Prime Minister Rani that directed him to stop direct placements when issuing treasury bonds. He said that the Prime Minister made this remark to him following the Cabinet Subcommittee meeting on Economic Affairs dated the 24th of February 2015. In addition, it has come to light that the Criminal Investigations Department is conducting a criminal investigation into the issuance of treasury bonds during the tenure that Arjuna Mahendran served as Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister's instructions are based on the recommendations made by Arjuna Mahendran, which are faults in the Public Debt Department manual and irregularities that took place in the past. However, Senior Additional Solicitor General Dapula de Oliveira pointed out, even at the 33rd meeting of the Monetary Board in 2017, there was no decision on stopping direct placements and it was never discussed at the meetings of the Cabinet Subcommittee on Economic Affairs. Mahendran, however, disagreed and said the minutes of those meetings were sketchy. Senior Additional Solicitor General Dapula de Oliveira claimed the meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on Economic Affairs, which convened on the 24th of February 2015, only decided to prioritize and implement all road projects with available funds and list to be prepared. In addition, the minutes of the Cabinet Subcommittee on Economic Affairs, which convened on the 3rd of February 2015, claims it was only advised to expedite and finish rural road projects and cost of highways to be re-evaluated. Both these meetings were chaired by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and attended by then Finance Minister Ravi Karunanika, Minister Kabir Hashim and Malik Samaravikrama, among others. The Attorney General's Department pointed out no decision on raising 15 billion or 75 billion rupees immediately was taken at both these meetings. The only document to substantiate Mahendran's claim of an urgent funding requirement is the undated letter from Ravi Karunanika, which was produced to the Commission by Mahendran's counsel. According to Article 165(1), every public officer is required by the Constitution to take an oath on entering upon the duties of his office. However, according to Mahendran, he was never asked to take an oath and never advised on the necessity to take an oath. As Mahendran had failed to take an oath, the Aegis Department said he had no intention of serving the Republic but only to serve himself and his son-in-law Arjuna Aloysius. Mahendran disagreed. Arjuna Mahendran said he did not direct the Superintendent of Public Debt to accept 20 billion rupees at first and then 10 billion rupees in bids following the auction on the 27th February 2015. The 3 reasons given by Mahendran to the Tender Board Chairman P. Samarasiri to accept the 10+ billion was the removal of penal weight, PDD miscalculated market appetite for a 30-year bond, and the government's requirement for more funds. The Senior Additional Solicitor General said the only way Perpetual Treasuries Limited could have bid 15 billion rupees, which is similar to what Mahendran claims as an initial funding requirement, is only if it had prior information. He said Arjuna Mahendran gifted his son-in-law market-sensitive information and fixed the auction. Arjuna Mahendran said in early 2015, Aloysius communicated he would be stepping down as CEO of PTL due to accusations of conflict of interest. Mahendran was appointed governor in late January 2015. The question was, how did Aloysius know Mahendran will be the governor? Mahendran said he told his family about the appointment but never discussed CVSL matters at home. Mahendran had discussed the matter of conflict of interest with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Ravi Karunanayake, Kabir Hashim and Malik Samaravikrama. As Mahendran said he would keep an arm's length when dealing with PTL, the above persons had said it was not an issue and there will be no conflict of interest. The AG's department said there was no record of Mahendran disclosing his relationship with Aloysius to the Mantri board.
The launch of the Sriracha insurance scheme for school children was held today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The event was held at the Temple Trees today. Dignitaries including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Education Minister Akilviraj Karyavasam were present at the occasion.
Sriracha has been launched for 4.5 million children in our country. A notable feature of this scheme is that it is not limited to school children only. It will also be extended to student monks in Pirivenas and to other theology students at religious institutions. The safety and security of the children of our nation is not an idea that cropped up yesterday or today. We constantly hope and pray for an educated generation in this country. As a government, we are immensely happy that we have been able to take another important step to ensure the welfare of school students and free education. I believe that only a handful of countries have come this far in ensuring the rights of all people and the right to education as per the UN Human Rights Convention. I wish to note that a sum of 2.9 billion rupees has been allocated for this scheme and we will continue to allocate funds annually. It is the duty of the government to fund this program.
Construction of the new cardiac and critical care complex at the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital commenced this morning under the patronage of President Sirisena. The project has been undertaken by the government and the Little Hearts Project with public support.
Following national defence, the government spends the most amount of money on health and education. Today we have true free healthcare. No matter what anyone says, no patient at any public hospital has to pay any money. All of this is provided for by the government. Under the leadership of the current president, who is also the former health minister, we have brought about free healthcare with a fully equipped health service.
A group of unemployed graduates from the North Central Province raided the office of the Chief Secretary of the Provincial Council today. The students claim they have been overlooked for public service jobs by unqualified people.
This group of unemployed graduates launched a series of demonstrations on the 19th of September demanding jobs in the public service. The unemployed graduates also held several rounds of talks with the Chief Minister and the Governor of the province. The issue was also discussed at the last sitting of the Provincial Council on the 28th of September, and 5 representatives of the unemployed graduates were given an opportunity to witness the proceedings from the gallery. Council Chairman D.M. Amratunga declared that a correct registry on appointments granted to graduates be published by today, the 2nd of October. The unemployed graduates returned to the premises of the Provincial Council today, claiming that the registry had not been published as promised. Our correspondent noted that the group subsequently raided the office of the Chief Secretary of the province, H.M. Bandara. The demonstrators detained the Chief Secretary for 3 hours, demanding that the governor be summoned to the scene. While the governor refused to come to the premises, 8 of the demonstrators were granted an audience with Governor P.B. Disanayake this evening. The 8 representatives departed to meet with the governor, while the others remained at the office of the Chief Secretary. The meeting was attended by the Secretary of the Provincial Public Service Commission and the Chief Secretary of the province in addition to the governor. The authorities had agreed to grant 1,278 teaching appointments to the unemployed graduates by next Monday.
Minister Laxman Keala called on the chief prelate of the Amarapura sect, Aggamha Pandita Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera, last evening to create awareness of the constitutional amendment draft bill.
Venerable Thero, I came here to present you a draft of the constitutional amendment and to tell you that the clause on Buddhism has not been changed. On the 30th, we will begin a 3-day debate. We are doing this with everyone's agreement. It is not being done by force. Everyone has to know about what we are doing. The people of this country need to be aware of this.
Following the meeting, Minister Laxman Keala spoke to the media.
It must be said in particular that the place given for Buddhism is the same. It has been stated in the interim report. The country's unitary state will be protected.
A meeting of UNP activists was held in Hangwell yesterday under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Let's take a look at the interaction between the Prime Minister and area residents. I'll tell you this, it may be hard to go on these roads now, but when we come into power, we will fix them. I can't fix them without the Pradeshya Sabhas. You give us the power and I provide the money. Tell the people that the Pradeshya Sabhas do not come under our purviews. Those are not our roads. We only have the roads that are under the purview of Minister Keala. Give it to us and we will fix them.
MPD Nation Award met with the chief prelate of the Malwatha chapter, the most venerable Tibbatuawe Sri Sumangala Thera, in Kandy today.
Gunawardena made submissions to the chief prelate on the stance of the joint opposition on the proposed new constitution, the delay in holding local government and provincial council elections.
A media briefing on the process of drafting a new constitution was held at the Department of Government Information yesterday. The current constitution does not say anywhere that sovereignty cannot be divided, but the report proposes this very clearly. So the opinion that the draft constitution will have federal elements is completely false. Two proposals have been put forward regarding Buddhism. We are not saying whether one is better than the other. We must decide later on which proposal we will accept. It will be decided in Parliament. There is another alternative. Parliament may reject both proposals and draft a new one. I wish to reiterate that there is no proposal anywhere in this report which comprises the prominence given to Buddhism. There is no change in the government responsibility to safeguard and promote the Buddha Sasana.
අපි දැක්ක පසුගිය සති We saw an amendment being passed in Parliament over the past fortnight with a two-thirds majority. We have the majority in Parliament, so a constitution that the country needs will be drafted. For example, Mahendran Rajapaksa has gone to the temples as usual, claiming we are presenting a constitution that will divide the country. This is a lie. We are aware that he usually does not read these things. He generally repeats what has been said. So we kindly call on him to read the interim report thoroughly. There is no mention of dividing the country anywhere in this report. We must be happy today because we have the agreement of all the Tamil and Muslim parties too.
The report also states that the Prime Minister can be selected either through the Westminster system or they can be elected directly by the people. It could be a similar system to the election of the Executive President at present. The Prime Minister could be nominated beforehand. This is something that we have not experienced before, and it has also been listed as an alternative in this report.
We'll be back after this short commercial break.
TV1 News First, main sponsor.
Conquer Line with the interest subsidy loan scheme program launched by the government of Sri Lanka.
Welcome back. This is Primetime News at 9. Let's talk business for a minute. More specifically, the Global Competitiveness Report 2018 published by the World Economic Forum. Now, this is a good example to gauge any country's economy. Where is Sri Lanka ranked according to this global index? Sri Lanka is ranked 85th in this global index, which includes 137 countries. Who are the top three? The top three are Switzerland, United States, and Singapore, who are in our very own region. Now, it is widely accepted that in the 1950s, when this man, the founder of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, came to Sri Lanka, he said he wanted to model Singapore according to the way he sees Sri Lanka. This was in the 1950s. Fast forward plenty of decades, where are we now? Where is Singapore and where is Sri Lanka? Now, the Global Competitiveness Index tracks around 140 countries, as I mentioned earlier, on 12 key pillars of competitiveness. The first of this report was published in 2003, and Sri Lanka was 68th in this first report. Fast forward to 2010, Sri Lanka is ranked 62 in 2010, still in the 60s. But what has happened today? Sri Lanka is now 85, down from 71 last year. Now, what are the key issues that are constricting Sri Lanka or restricting Sri Lanka from moving ahead in these rankings? The report analyzes these issues as well. The top three issues I'm going to highlight are inefficient government bureaucracy, three very strong words. Poor work ethic in national labor force. We have a lot of strikes going on, so poor work ethic in national labor force, as well as policy instability. These three are the main problematic factors for doing business in Sri Lanka, and hence why Sri Lanka is not progressing forward in these indexes. What has happened to the country that once inspired Lee Kuan Yew, and what does the future hold? Only time will tell. It's back to the newsroom.
Cartoonist Asangaladwa Hetty arrived at our Newsfirst studios this evening for tonight's picture that speaks louder than words.
An island-wide program to provide coconuts at a concessionary price commenced at the premises of the head office of the Coconut Cultivation Board in Battaramulla today.
The Coconut Cultivation Board has undertaken this program on the instructions of the Minister of Plantation Industries, Navin Dissanayake. Coconuts have been priced at 65 rupees each through this program. Lorries carrying coconuts were dispatched from the location to distribute coconuts at concessionary prices across the country over the next 2 weeks. The chairman of the Coconut Cultivation Board, Keala Yakamdavala, said the coconuts will also be sold at reduced prices via Satos outlets from tomorrow.
1 million coconuts will be sold in urban areas over the next few days at the fair price of 65 rupees per coconut. We hope that this will help control the high prices of coconuts. We will provide a maximum of 10 coconuts to each consumer via the lorries. We will cover approximately 50 towns today.
World Habitat Day was celebrated under the auspices of the Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa, at the Sanat Jayasuriya grounds today.
1,000 beneficiaries were provided with housing loans, housing aid and land ownership deeds in line with this event. The event also saw the participation of Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaravira, the State Minister for National Enterprise Development Laxman Yapapevardhana and Mathura District Parliamentarian Buddhika Patirana.
Everyone talks so highly of celebrating World Habitat Day. But even as we speak at this very moment, over 2.5 million people are left destitute and homeless. At times I wonder why we even resort to celebrating World Habitat Day when 2.5 million people are still suffering.
We can see that there are certain individuals who want to take us back to a time where this country was divided and to a time where this country suffered as a result of division. It is now evident that those who cannot democratically gain power and are in envy of the progress made by this country are now resorting to these separatist measures. Ogilvy Public Relations Sri Lanka succeeded in finishing ahead of 1,200 of the best award entries from across the Asia-Pacific region at the Sabre APAC Awards held in Hong Kong recently. The agencies uncovered the truth campaign with the Transparency International Sri Lanka to raise awareness on Sri Lanka's Right to Information Act won 2 certificates of excellence, a gold award in the charities and not-for-profit category and the Best in Show campaign.
Ogilvy Public Relations Sri Lanka is the first and only PR agency in the country to win the Platinum Best in Show award, earning it the crown of the Best PR campaign in the Asia Pacific Award Show, which saw entries from Australia, Japan, India, China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia and many others in the region. The Sabre Award Show is the world's largest and most sought-after public relations award competition, which recognizes superior achievement in branding and reputation management in North America, Latin America, Europe, Middle East and Africa, South Asia and the Asia-Pacific regions. Newsfirst spoke to the Chief Executive Officer of Ogilvy Public Relations Sri Lanka, Malika Phillips, on their achievement.
The Sabre Awards is a highly respected awards show among the industry professionals internationally, and we are truly humbled by the recognition it has received both regionally and globally. It's an absolute pride for us to have been able to win this award and this recognition for Sri Lanka above all the other campaigns presented by regionally and global agencies.
Ajinkya Pawar, the planning head of Phoenix Ogilvy Limited, Colombo, won the prestigious WPP Atticus Awards 2016. WPP Atticus Awards honor original published thinking in marketing and communication services.
It's absolutely great that I won this award. It's a great prestige. Only 10 people across the world have won this. I am the only one from South Asia. This award is awarded by Martin Sorrell, who owns WPP, the global conglomerate that is around. That has 3,000 offices across the world. Furthermore, my idea plans to disrupt the global advertising industry, and I'm glad that industry leaders listened to this idea and appreciated it.
In line with World Children's Day, the Sanat Jayasuriya Cricket Academy organised its annual Cricket Carnival yesterday. The carnival was held at the CCC grounds and had matches under 10, 12 and 14 age categories. Awards were also presented to outstanding players. Sanat Jayasuriya as well as Lasit Malinga were present at the event. Sriracha Haran was among the students who performed exceptionally during yesterday's event.
Before we wrap up the news, just to give you a quick update regarding the mass shooting that took place in the US. At present, the death toll stands at 58 with over 515 being injured. Now, just a quick reminder that Face the Nations follows in just a moment.
Discussing the controversies surrounding provincial council polls are Minister of Local Government and Provincial Councils Faiza Mustafa, Coordinating Secretary to the President Sriracha, President's Council Hemantha Varnakulasuriya and Executive Director of Cafe Kirthi Tennakund. We leave you tonight with cartoonist Asangala Tuahetti as he reveals tonight's picture that speaks louder than words. For the News First team, I'm Dasani Athalda.
And I'm Sandru Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.
Pol Lanka vivatu vella bevena pol Pitarata patavana pol Lanka vivatu vella bevena pol